What's up, Juventini? Huge points at stake today in what could be a fiery matchup as Juve host Milan and Mad Max makes his return to the Allianz. Can Tudor outwit him and show more tactical prowess than he has? Oh boy, we got it all. We're going to tackle it all and everything in the news as I got some days to throw around today. I'll tell you that. And I got Skanga with me. How you doing, brother?
You want to know something? I'm gonna let people peek behind the curtain a little bit here. We like to have three. Three is like a normal number on the show. Can't do one. It's a lot of heavy lifting. At the forklift show, you can handle one. I could do it. Four is a lot. When it's with two, we rely on the army to be that third. All right, kids. So today, let's pick up the slack.
Time for the army. Step it up. Step it up.
Step it up.
And speaking of the army, great to see you all in here. DR1S in here, ready to rock. Sikoko in here. Tony Roast Beef, Alex Juve, Tuna in here. Cliff, Swarit, Alex Juve, Ori, Zwarwork Music. Great to see you all. Vincenzo G. All right, it's great to see you all. We're ready to rock. There's some headlines to tackle coming into this game. We're going to start with probably my first day that's going to go out there. And that is, oh yeah, like I waste no time, man. I'm all business today, okay? Super League, okay?
Oh my God.
Barcelona, Real Madrid, working secretly for 8 months and have submitted a final offer as they have been in discussions for 8 months secretly to merge with UEFA. Juve literally was the only team pushed to the point where they had to just bail out, and now there's a merger about to come. If this ain't some shit, I don't know what is, man, but this is crazy.
The ridiculousness of this entire situation, that you can't even put it into words how ridiculous this is.
It's absolutely wild that out of all that, Juve was the one to come out. And like Agnelli, I said it on the news update yesterday, Agnelli must have been somewhere just destroying everything in sight, like just smashing TVs, smashing plates, glasses, wherever the hell he was, because that is just some serious shit. Anyways, they're looking to merge on a format that is not very much different from what was presented in the first place. And it's just wild to me. It's wild to me.
Well, the format presented is what they're using now.
It's very close to. The only thing they're changing is like your top 18 teams will play against themselves, and then the bottom 18 play against themselves to create better matchups. But then knockouts are still decided on points and rankings, which is very bizarre because you've got all your top teams playing in like intense matchups that could get screwed out of knockouts and KOs, and then you're bringing in the lower 18 tier that could qualify higher because they're playing the lower 18 tier teams. So it's very, very strange, but nonetheless, what the hell is going on that we got screwed out of this thing? And now it's just wild to me. Now, we'll move on to more headlines because we got headlines. Sporting director. We lost Rui Braz. He was one of the top candidates, and now I think we're actually on the docket as candidates because, hey, welcome to October 5th. By the way, October, go Jays yesterday, giving the Yankees the day. Let's go. But sporting director, we could probably take some time now. I mean, we wanted to hire one in October, but I mean, there's seriously no real rush right now at this point.
Well, are we I know Juventus, we're a big club, yada, yada, yada. Are we do people look at Juventus and like salivate and say, ooh, I want that job?
Well, I would still say yes.
I think so.
Of course they do. But the thing is like, we're not really in a rush to grab a sporting director right
Agreed.
now. Even the last summer, when we brought in Kamoli and you looked at his profile, and I told everybody, because everybody's like, oh, he's not going to do anything. We need to get a sporting director in this summer. And I'm like, no, he will act as the sporting director. This guy has had every single job from, you know, president to GM to sporting director to coach, for God's sakes, and to working concessions. He's done every single position known to man at a football club. He was always going to take care of it. And I actually like the fact that they're maybe taking their time with it rather than rushing into another, you know, meathead or mistake. Just take your time. Get the right guy, whoever you deem that is. But Rui Braz would have been a solid one in my personal opinion. However, he's off the docket. Now we go back to Ottolini, Diego Lopez, and then there's the guy from Toulouse that Comoli would have had some rapport with, and that is
Wasn't he in the lead?
But,
pretty sure he was in the lead for the longest time for the job.
Well, Ottolini's been the one tipped off by many. So we just gotta wait and see who he ends up deciding. But it is expected to come this month. But for me, all this talk about January windows already, we talked about the list of 4 midfielders, etc. I'm like, guys, I hate shopping in January. And usually when you're trying to scrounge something up in January, you've either made a mistake in the summer or you're dealing with serious injuries. Right now, the injury list ain't too bad. It's okay. I mean,
we're fighting through.
The Cabal one kind of sucks, 45 days. Yeah, so that one kind of hurts. Thuram and Bremer, we'll talk about that as we get into the squad list and whatnot. Miretti, we're still waiting, and again, these timetables are awful, but we could take our time when it comes to sporting director.
Well, hang on. Whoa, hang on. If you need to make the Vega move last summer, it was an anomaly. Normally, you don't hit with a player in January like that. Doesn't really happen. Or we don't go after players that normally hit. Just let's fill some holes. If you want to make moves in January, which do you want to make some moves in January? Do you want this club to make moves in January?
Did I want?
Do you want Juventus to make moves this January?
If there's a good opportunity, if we really need some help, I'm okay with it.
Then
but it depends.
That person should be here sooner than later.
I don't necessarily think so, because if it's like a position where you can do something that's non-obligation, it doesn't really matter because you're not taking any business away from the next guy you hire. The summers are always the big meal tickets, right? So that's why I'm kind of like, you know what? Make sure you get the right guy in here and take your time. The January window is always kind of like this crapshoot. The fact that we're looking at all these midfielders and I'm not really confident in committing to any of them. I'll be quite honest. Not Friendrip, not Milinkovic-Savic, not Kessier. Like, I don't really like that. You know, we might have to just do the same thing we did last year, and that's address the back line, which we probably should have done in this summer. They might have banked on Cabal. Now Cabal's expected time frame is like late November. So that sucks. Yeah, it sucks big time. So we got to just kind of see what happens here. Now, in more headlines, and I already see it. It didn't take much time, but I think someone threw in there Tudor out. I've seen a lot of Tudor out. We talked about this. We had a good discussion on the post-match about should he or should he not be on the hot seat. Some fans simply don't have the stomach to talk about that. And they're just like, what are we doing? And I'm like, I'll be quite honest with you. I'll be very, very honest with my thoughts. I'm happy that there's discussions like that going on. And if you want them to go away, be careful what you ask for, because that means that your expectations have skidded completely to a standard that's well below Juve should ever have the threshold for. Because that just goes to show you that at least like ambition expectations are kept at a range where those discussions are happening. You know who's happy with unbeaten but having 4 very unconvincing draws to their names? Teams like Cremonese that are higher up there in the stand. Teams like that will be happy with that. The fact that there is more of a desire for results, for wins, that makes me happy. And I'm okay with talking about something that might not feel comfortable to some fans, like, should he be on the hot seat? We all answered the same. No, he shouldn't be. Not right now, anyways. But I don't mind the discussions because of that reason. Our motto isn't draws don't matter. They're the
The end.
only thing
Yeah.
that counts. No. It's winning isn't important. It's the only thing that counts. So
If
I'm okay with it.
if the if there wasn't that grinta that we've shown this year that we didn't show last year, I'd probably have a different opinion, right? But there's something different about this team. There's a different feeling to it, right? Yes, there's draws, but Tudor brought something different here. So I think let's just stick with it. Like we just stick with it. I think things are going to get more positive as we move forward here. But I understand why people are upset. Like we don't like what's with all these draws. I get it. But Tudor out 6 games in when we haven't even lost yet.
Yeah, and this is my thing
much,
is like last year, I said it all along, and I was on Mota very early. It was like late October, and it was late October, so we're in the same month, but it was late October, and I said, this guy looks a mess when it comes to man management. So
Yes.
as long as Tudor has that, and we're kind of where we are right now, we're not far from turning the tides and start turning these games into wins. Some of these should have been wins, even based on the way we played. Some of them still should have been wins. But it has to take something to go completely sideways. Like Mota lost the entire dressing. Like I'm like, this guy is just flat out being a prick.
Yes.
He needs to go. Yep. The red flags were everywhere. As long as it's not a complete disaster, that gives you more leash. So we can't just say, oh, he's drawing. This is all the same as Mota. Well, no, it's not the same as Mota. It feels like he's got the guys on his side. But at some point, he's going to have to turn the screws, like as a coach, Tudor. And today could be a prime example of where he might have to get out of his comfort zone and try something a little different to hurt this team. Milan, who is only playing in one competition and actually has been pretty stout defensively, and we'll get into all that.
Yep.
This might be the game where you got to try something based on the signs that we've seen and some of the flags that have come up. Will he pull the trigger on certain moves? Well, we'll get into that when we preview this game. We're going to keep rolling with some headlines because Tudor was also stating, what's he going to do at striker going into this game? And there was all this talk about, Vlahovic, Openda, David, etc. And I'm like, you know what? This is one of those things following Tudor and why fans are even having that discussion in the first place. Because it's like, he had a good thing going. David coming in on start, Vlahovic, chip on his shoulder coming in. And then he starts tweaking. And then he starts, I'm starting him. Continuity is not there for any of the three. And you kind of created this so-called dilemma or headache at striker. So it's one of the things that is part of having that chair. So if you don't like him, being on the hot seat, guess what? That's the gig he signed up for, and nobody knows it more than Tudor, who's been at Juve.
Yeah. If he's rotating through these strikers and it's April, that's a problem. We're 6 games in. I think he's still trying to figure out. I don't really believe the rumors. But I saw rumors that David came in heavy and
no.
I didn't really believe those. But he's still he is adjusting. A different league. You have to give him a minute to adjust. Openda to adjust. Everybody knows I'm a Vlahovic guy. I do not hide it. But he's gone. He's gone next summer. So David, you have to figure it out between David and Openda, who's your starting striker in whatever format. So the sooner he gets that sorted out, I think once we start getting some consistency in the lineup, I think we need to start up there.
And I see it the same way as I've seen it since the start of the year. And that's why I'm a little like, I think he was playing Tinkerman a little too much and shouldn't have had to. Mm-hmm. I think he shouldn't have had to and should have just kind of stuck to it. I agree with him experimenting at certain other things, but I think he had something good going up at the top, and then he kind of created this whole
Yes.
dilemma thing, and he should have been tweaking other things. Like number one, a right side with Kalulu and Gatti repeatedly that I
Oh
don't
my
know
God.
what you see in. But again, those are the kind of things I would be
Yes.
experimenting with. Up top,
Agreed.
it seemed to be going well and working, and that's why I'm kind of like questioning him and just how confident he is in what he's doing, and if he's overthinking things, overanalyzing. We'll get to that when we get to the matchup, but as far as the
Mhm.
strikers go, well, maybe continuity is coming. And as far as
Mhm.
strikers go, the rumor mill never stops at Juve, baby. Xerxes back on the rumor mill for
Okay.
Juve, eyeing up this
What
guy.
year is this?
Well,
Like, come on, guys.
not excited, eh?
Not well. I don't know. I would
I
have been
tell you
excited
what,
in 2019, but
right
he's a,
now, everybody that leaves Man U is starting to hit their prime and just peak performance. Whew, maybe.
maybe.
Um, you know what? Yeah, and Tuna say the same thing. Every ex-United player nowadays is just bagging. Maybe. But yeah, I don't know. It's not something that excites me. Speaking of rumor mill, somebody's getting scouted today, everybody. Somebody's getting scouted. Kenan Yildiz. Arsenal are coming into the Allianz Stadium, and they're going to scout Kenan Yildiz. I said this before. Shut the damn doors. Say, don't waste your time.
$1 billion.
Yeah. I'm going to finish.
And charge them double for entrance fee. Make sure they pay double for their tickets. Scumbags.
What's he want? Beans for breakfast? Like, what are we talking about? No, fucking.
Have you had beans on toast?
No.
I've had beans on toast like 3 days in a row when I was over there. First of all, you're going to gain like 15 pounds and your cholesterol shoots through the roof. But man, like he won't survive over there.
Dude, no, what are we talking about? Beans on toast? No. And Arsenal, shut the damn door. Say no thank. You're scouting Yildiz? You don't have to scout Kenan Yildiz, for God's sakes.
It's
Like,
called YouTube.
what are we talking about? Scouting Kenan Yildiz. Yeah, this is another day, all right? I gave one to those mutts with the whole Super League thing and Juve being the only season. Arsenal, you're going to get one as well. Yeah, go back to your shanties and F off, okay? Enough of this garbage. Kenan Yildiz, shut the damn door. Get that extension done and lock it in with like a 1 billion release clause, okay? And stop these clowns. Allianz, yeah, here's your special booth. Send them to the pissers and be like, this is where you can do your scouting from, you clowns.
Now, when we're talking about release clauses, can we fix Bremer's release clause, please? Can we put $1 billion on him?
Hey, I've been saying this for a while now because everybody told me, they're like, it's gone. Berto, he doesn't even have one anymore. I'm like, no, he does. No. And the funny thing was they were sending me snippets from Fabrizio Romano, and I'm like, am I taking crazy pills right now? Like, you're sending me something telling me that the release clause is gone, and then you send me Fabrizio Romano's post, which literally says the release clause is increased. Nobody knows what it is, but the last time we extended him in 2024, in the summer there, the release clause, which was originally only 60 million euros, got like increased, but it is believed to be 70, and that's it. So what some people have told me is 70 million for a defender that's almost 30. Great, take it. That's a lot of money. Well, hold on a second. Is he worth 70 million to Juve? Because for me, he's actually worth more.
He's worth 170.
107. That's a hell of a lot.
Just look at our team when he's not here. Look at what we have when he's not here. What is that worth to you? What is your happiness worth to you?
And I'm sorry, but it's like, you know, and 70, yeah, Alex P, it is respectable. It's a respectable number, 100%. And there's a lot of capital in that move too.
A lot.
But the thing is that if you start looking around and you want to get somebody at that tier, because I'm not into selling Bremer and getting a young guy at 40 to 50. Like the Calafiori price tag for us was 50 million euros. So I am not into selling him at 70 and then buying someone that is unknown to be at that tier for Juve, a guy that you already know is that big, that crucial for Juve, at 50 million. So for me, it has to be. You have to push higher. You can't set a release clause of 70. You can maybe work down to something, right? But start higher, especially if his place that he wants to go to, this is the big key, everybody, is the Premier League. Because his own words, I'd love to play in the Premier League one day. Guess what? That's the league with the most money. So you don't set yourself a clause of 70 million. You set it up higher and you can negotiate down. Those guys are paying that kind of money for shitheads. For Bremer, we can get more. We can
Bremer's
get more
gotta be
from
nine
those
figures.
guys if you play it right. But you're already setting the tone with a 70 million release clause. But you know what? Yeah, it's respectable. It's not like a number to balk at. There's a lot of capital there. But
100%.
for me, he's worth more to Juve, especially right now. And we're going to talk about it in this game because he's not expected to be starting.
Son of a
expected to be
bitch.
starting. So we will talk about that. Now, we might as well get into this Juve Milan game. Straight to the business, everybody. We will go through the squad list. Bremer is not on the squad list. Okay. Juve, 3 wins, 2 draws. We know
But
where
nothing
we're
to be concerned about with Bremer, right? Like they're just resting him. It's just we've seen this with other players who've had ACL injuries. Sometimes you just got to shut him down.
It's nothing
And he
crazy.
didn't get called to.
It's nothing
And he
crazy.
didn't get called to Brazil, so he has an extra 2 weeks.
You know what? Good. And I'm kind of pissed that Thuram got the call while injured with us. Did make the squad list today. Thuram did. But yeah, he's going to be going to international duty. Yildiz is going to international duty. Conceição, and then Cambiasso and Locatelli. So those are the guys that are going to be there. Thuram is on the squad list, everybody. But he didn't make the starting lineup as far as projections go. We'll get into that. Juve, 3 wins, 2 draws. While there have been similar flaws on show this season, Juve remain unbeaten in Serie A, and their 10-match run going without a league defeat stretches all the way back to April.
Nice.
It's funny because it doesn't feel like that, though, right?
No, it doesn't.
It never does. It never does. And then you get these stats and you're like, what? Really? Milan, 4 wins on the trot. Had opening defeat to Cremonese, and since 4 wins on the trot, a big one last time out against Napoli. With no European commitments to concern them, they've claimed 12 points so far and are top of the table. 3 coming, obviously, from that big clash last week against Napoli. Their main man, arguably their main man, but Pulisic, he's off to a crazy start, red-hot start. They have transformed their midfield, Modric being a part of it. They have added Rabiot to it. They had Ricci come in the summer as well. They are they're looking good. They don't concede either. So defensively stout, and they could put goals in at the other end. It's going to be a difficult game. If you're looking at the injuries, you've got Juve with Cabal, Milik. Bremer is off the squad list. And then for Milan, Tomori's got doubts. Estupinan is actually serving a suspension, and that's a big one because he's gotten off to a good start for them and looks very, very active on that left flank. So he's going to be serving suspension. That's really it for Milan. We'll get into your projected lineups. This is kind of what we're looking at for them. Bartesaghi is who's shown to play on that left side in Estupinan's absence, but that's not locked in. When you get to the rest, Mignon obviously in goal. This one does show Tomori, Gabbia, Pavlovic, which is probably what we'll see. There were some doubts around Tomori, but he is expected to start. Salamakers, who's actually been really, really strong, and him on that right side is making things a lot easier for Pulisic, and Pulisic actually playing with a lot of freedom, moving left and right. But Modric, Fofana, and Rabiot set to be the middle of the park. Bartesaghi, Leao, Pulisic, and it's not even locked in that it's going to be Leao. It could even be Jimenez. We have to wait and see how Max dials that up. For Juve, This is Juve's projected lineup going into this one. So, Di Gregorio in goal. Gatti, Rugani, and Kelly. Okay, so back three, Rugani steps in for the start against Milan. Across the middle, Kalulu. So Kalulu and Gatti right side again. Locatelli and McKennie continue in the middle of the park. Cambiaso, Conceição, Yildiz, and David slated to get the start after a couple days of hearing it's going to be Dusan Vlahovic. So now that we get these lineups out of the way, let's go, Tony. Let's get your thoughts on this. What you think about those lineups and your kind of keys to success victory for Juventus?
Well, can you bring up the Juventus lineup real quick again?
Yeah, absolutely.
So our left side against their right side, 27 has been on a bit of a schneid lately. Yep. But João Mauro coming in hasn't exactly, outplayed him for that spot. So going up against Pulisic, who is playing very well, that's a little concerning. Again, the Gatti Kalulu on the right side. We got Rugani in the back, so hopefully he can solidify things a little bit. But for me, so I guess the basic keys to victory is, the first thing I want to see is can we play a consistent 90? Like, I'm not saying we have to come out guns a-blazing, for 90 minutes. But we haven't had a consistent 90 minutes looking, for nice and easy, consistent for the whole game. And I don't even think we've had one this year. The other one is, let's score early. Let's see what this Milan team can do when they're down. Because the only game that they were down in the game was the first game against Cremonese. That's it. Other than that, they've either been leading. They've always been leading. Or they've had clean sheets. I think they've had 4 clean sheets in all competitions, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So score early. Score early. And maybe if you score 1 or 2, I want to see how Max adjusts to that. You know that when we had Max and we went down early, it was an absolute goddamn nightmare to try and come back in games. Yeah. So score early, consistent 90. Let's put them under pressure a little bit, because I don't think they've really had that. They did play well last week. They were down for 30 minutes with a red card last week, and they still held on for the 2-1 win. Yeah. So they can lock it down at the back.
Before the hour mark, man. Before the hour mark. Yeah. I just put up Milan's starting lineup again for Zwartwork Music, who wanted to see it. So there you have it. I'm going to speak to my thoughts on these lineups. This is where it's a game where, Tudor's got to kind of pick up that tactical prowess. I'm not so sure that I feel confident that we lock down one of the biggest strengths in our opponents, which is the midfield. If you're going to end up having Modric with space, he's going to kill you and he's going to burn you. I don't care if this guy's 100 years old. I don't care if he looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. It really doesn't matter. This guy's he's a unit. He's a beast. He's one of my favorite midfielders of all time. He's going to roast you if he has space. So I think this was a game you've got to have 3. Now, the thought from some Juventini is that maybe it is on paper this 3-4-2-1, but maybe Cambiaso makes that third midfielder, and maybe we do go back 4, so that your back 4 is actually Gatti, Rugani, and then you have Kalulu on one outside, Kelly on another outside. That opens up a different set of issues for me, because Kelly is a nightmare as an outright left back. In the couple times we've actually seen him as an outright left back. But that would be a better strategy to have 3 mids in there and actually man up, like man to man. But would Cambiaso be the guy I choose? I don't necessarily know. This guy is borderline and has been borderline a liability, while his game is seemingly lost. He's had 1 really good performance this season. That's it. And the rest has been marred by a lot of brain dead plays, if we're being quite honest, and a lot of brutal turnovers. This is not a team today where you want to turn the ball over cheaply, because they will find Modric and he will cook. Modric leads the league in almost every category a midfield can be measured in. And not just offensively, not just line-breaking passes, not just key passes, not just passes connected in the final third. Also, interceptions. Also, like defensive statistics. This guy at 40 is incredible right now, what he's doing. And he's got the benefit of one competition, one game a week. That's what's going to keep Modric ticking for Milan. And Juve has to plan for that. So somewhere along the lines in this setup, there has to be a plan to neutralize Modric. And right now, looking at that setup, I'm not feeling that way, unfortunately, because I think you have to have 3 outright midfielders in there. And that one's a little bit tough. My keys to victory, that is one of the main ones, is match them in the middle of the park. You can't let Modric go to town. That's like the very first one I have for keys to victory. Funny enough, I have a very similar one to you. Get the jump on them. Force them to open up. Because otherwise, if you're waiting for the transition, that's the number one way we have been punished for allowing opportunities to the opponent, is on the counters. I don't think you want to do that right now, play that game, because if they do start Leao and you've got Pulisic up there and Modric is pulling the strings and it's in transition, you could be hurt. Even Salamakers is a guy you're going to have to watch up. It's going to be interesting. We have to play a clean, smart game. Can't have costly turnovers. You got to break up that transition, but you got to match them in the middle. And that's where I have question marks around our lineup. The other one, they haven't allowed much for goals. Like against Cremonese, the 2, that's essentially it. One to Napoli on a PK. That's it.
And 5 clean sheets, including Coppa Italia. Yeah.
But while that record stands, there's a lot of close calls in there. There's a lot of close calls for PKs. They don't look 100% strong aerially, despite the size of Gabia, despite Pavlovic being in there. You got to send numbers. You got to get numbers in there, and you have to put them to the test in the box. They do look questionable and shaky in the box. The fact that he's going with Conceição and Yildiz is good. They're going to be doubling up. They're going to pay extra attention to Yildiz. Other guys got to pick up the slack. Same story as always. But having Chico there to balance it out is the right call. But I'm still thinking we're delaying this 4-3-3 setup. I still feel that way.
And they're a classic Max team where they don't dominate possession. They have games where they have dominated possession, but I saw one game where they were at like 37%. I'm like, Max is back.
Oh yeah.
So they're not gonna, let's remember, this is Max. If everything we remember about Max is happening with this team. So,
but what's going on there so far? And again, small sample size, very small sample size. But it's what we wanted out of Juve. It was a team that could go through the gears. It was a team that could clamp down when you need to clamp down, but could also strike and hurt you, because they are scoring goals. They're bagging 3, bagging 2 here. Like, they're scoring goals. Look, this is going to be a very, very tough game. Very, very difficult game. We'll see if Tudor got it right. But another thing is, we've wanted a lot of adjustments, a lot of changes early on. That speaks to a couple things with Juve that can't really happen today, because you might be in trouble with the opponent. And that is the players, their performances individually, but also Tudor's calls. Because like the last game, I kind of backed off Tudor so much because you had 5 guys on shockers for performances.
Oh my God, at least 5.
But that's also kind of goes to him too, because it's like, man, at some point, you got to draw the line. You can't just keep bleeding out on the pitch and having to make these changes, especially ones early on, right? So
he took Koopmeiners off at halftime, and everyone was
right at half.
There we go.
But it was a start that we all said, why? We've seen that movie many times, Yep. It's like watching The Breakfast Club again for the 50th time. Like, I know exactly what's going to happen. And that was a great show, by the way. Okay. Mess with the bull, you get the horns there. What was the guy's name? What was Judd Nelson's name?
Bender.
Bender.
For 2 months.
Listen,
Yeah.
players to watch. Who are your players to watch in this one?
Okay. When we signed this guy in the summer, I had very little hope that he's going to do anything. But I'm gonna be positive today. Jonathan David has to get it right. He missed 2 shockers the other game, and a lot of people are getting on him.
One shocker. The other one needed a nice finish, and he hit.
If that was Dusan, everyone would have said, "How much do you earn a year?" He's got to finish that. You're a striker. That's your job. Put it over the goalie. Put it in the back of the net. Finish the game off. Anyways,
it's a tough one.
He's son of a bitch. My guy is Jonathan David. Let's get it done today, big guy. Come on. Don't let me down. We're from the same nation. Don't let me down. Get it done early. On the other side, again, I know who you're going to pick. I'm going to say Pulisic is the guy. If we can shut him down. Leao has never really hurt us in the past, but I know he's a very good player. But I think Pulisic is the guy that I'm going to be watching on the other side. We need to shut him down.
Do I dare say Pulisic hasn't scored against Juve ever? So
See, why'd you do that? Why did you? Okay, I'm taking a Pulisic.
Let me scratch what I had here. Now my man to watch for Milan will be Pulisic. It was Pulisic going into this one. I mean, the guy's in red hot form. We gotta shut that thing down. Okay. Yes, I know everybody. You guys can blame me if Pulisic bags one against, but that's the stat. Okay. For Juve, I'm actually gonna say Conceição, and I said this one yesterday. Okay, that Yildiz, he needs some type of relief in our game, in our setup. And it's no surprise to me. It stood out like a sore thumb against Villarreal. And even while David was taking heat, I said, take him out. Put Openda in there, put Vlahovic. It wouldn't have mattered while we had a right side the way we did with Colt Miners. It wasn't going to work. It didn't matter. Colt Miners was in brutal shape, okay? Wasn't doing anything. No key passes, nothing. Niente, okay?
Yeah.
So,
it's true.
Second half, Chico Conceição comes in. All of a sudden, you get some balance. And then
Lights
what?
out.
Then Yildiz all of a sudden gets a little more involved in the second half too, because now they're focusing not solely on him, but left to right. And there is a threat on the right, Conceição. And guess what? You still want to focus on Yildiz? Conceição went to town. Did a great job. Looked awesome. Super effective. And then lanes started to open for David because he knew he could make runs and the ball might actually get there. Yes, it didn't work out in his favor, but things opened up. Chico Conceição is my man to watch for Juve in this one. And I think that I don't get the hate. I never understood why Juve fans didn't want to sign him. I think he's a solid player. I think he's really good. And I think he's got high ceiling. And he's still so young. But I love the tenacity and the drive and the fire that this guy plays in. Last game, the guy flops in our area. Who's the first guy in his face telling him to get his ass up and stop it? It's Chico. It's the smallest guy on our team. And he's running up and he's right in the guy's face. And I'm like, good on you. There is so much character in this player. I'm looking for Chico Conceição today. All right.
And how many games, like you can say like Yildiz is one of these players. How many players do we have that instantly turn a game around? Or sorry, that have turned their games on that we can think of, man, that guy came in or he had a game where he completely turned around. It's Yildiz and Chico.
And Jagrova has done one. He's got one to his name too.
Dusan off the bench, but that's his job. Like as a striker, he'd come in, score goals. But really, there's only been a few players I've come in or have started and been like, wow, that guy dominated.
And the last wild card we got to throw in as one of those things to watch for is the bench. The bench could be crucial today. And I'll go as far to argue if we see that starting lineup from Milan, I actually think we're in a better position if it goes later in the game with substitutes. If you can look at Openda, Zhigrova, Vlahovic's way, we've got more firepower at the front if it goes later into it. My one thing about this game, I want us to play in some type of a 4-3-3 setup. This game could have been one where you could actually play two strikers. It might have actually been a two-striker game. Just because going back to what I was saying, if it's going to be tough to win the midfield battle, but a 4-3-1-2, you've got the ability to play one of those strikers that they're all still going to work defensively and everything. So you wouldn't lose a whole bunch there. But, man, I'm telling you, Milan still looks a little shaky in their area despite having these clean sheets to their name and stuff. You want to get the ball in that area and ask questions. Because there's posts being hit. There's close PK calls. Like, it's not clean. It's not like you're watching the BBC. Like, it's messy. Mm-hmm. They're getting it done, but it's messy. It might be a two-striker game. I'll be quite honest for Juve.
Now, if this has happened this season, so I'm not jinxing nothing. We've gone down early and we've gone down often. In seasons past, we're like, oh man, there's no way we're coming back in this game. This team has shown the fight that they can come back late, real late. So even if we go down one, if we go down two, to your point, I still think we have the firepower on the bench to come in late to turn this game around. We need a win. I know.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into my prediction yet, but we need 3 points.
You don't want to fall behind 2 to them. They are with Max. They're going to clamp down everybody back. Everybody back. They're going to put trainers in the area. Everybody's going to be all hands on deck at the back with 2. You're going to have no space to do anything. Yeah. So the first goal is going to be massive in this game. 100%. First goal, critical. That being said, time to put our money where our mouth is, my friend, and it's time for the prediction. Right. And you got to set the tone, and then we go into the prediction. So let's rock.
I do. So I don't have the individual stats on Marco Guida. So Marco Guida's been around a long time. We know this referee. This son of a bitch has done 24 games for us, going all the way back to, I couldn't believe it, going all the way back to, I think it was 2014. 24 games. In those 24 games, we have 6 draws, 2 losses. We have 16 wins. So if we're betting on anything today, I'm betting on the win. But those 2 losses, one of them was in 2017, the 3-2 loss to Sampdoria. And the other one, 2020, that 4-2 loss at Milan, the one where Rabiot scored. He was in the middle doing that game.
I don't really think he affected that game. Gotta get a glimpse of this guy to see who it is. Oh, God. This guy?
Know who it is. You know who it is.
Not this fucking guy. All right.
We have 16 wins when he does
good record with him, but God, he's had some horror show games of officiating.
But in the last 3 matches he's done for us have all been draws. 2-2 at Atalanta, 0-0 at Rome, and he did the 4-4 match against Inter last season.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Marco Guida owes us a few wobbly pops. Oh, man. Yeah. Fuck no Guida. All right, Bucci.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Skanga set the tone. We do have a good record with him. So that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But how many of those were big games? Because a lot of these refs, I feel like these big games, man, they just, I don't know, it's all over the place.
He's only really done so I'll just go real quick. So Inter, Rome, Atalanta, Salernitana, whatever. Inter, Fiorentina, Inter, Lazio, Torino, Fiorentina, Atalanta, Lazio. So he's not doing he's doing clashes for us.
Well, there's one big game in there. There's a lot of.
Well, they're all top
and they're all mutts. Let's be honest. So yeah, okay, give you that. I'll give you that.
Way earlier in his career, he was doing the Cagliari games and all those other ones, but. Anyways,
Well,
do with that what you will.
prediction time. Final
You're
score.
goddamn right. I am ready for it.
Hit with like a bold claim, and then give me your way too early man of the match. Everybody in the
Okay.
chat, I want to see yours as well.
Okay, so Juve is a slight underdog today at plus 180. Draws plus 210. Milan's at plus 165. So pretty even. Today, this guy is going with the 2-1 win for Juventus at plus 950. I have Yildiz and David to score. I have those combined at plus 771. And get this, man. I couldn't believe this one. This one's getting a lot of Chicote on it. A Chico anytime assist is plus 650.
I like that.
Oh, betting heavy. All the chips are going in on that one.
Yeah. I like it. Who's your way too early man of the match?
Way too early man of the match. I'm going with Chico. I think Chico's going to unlock this son of a bitch today.
This guy just literally took my entire prediction. Like, my entire prediction, other than the David and Yildiz goals. But, yeah, pretty much took it. I'm thinking we go 2-1. And I'm thinking we win this game. I think Chico has himself a game. But I don't know if I go with man of the match performance there. And I'll tell you why. Because one of my goal scorers, I'm actually going to put McKennie down for the goal. And I'm actually going to say that this game might reek of a McKennie like strong showing. That's just like every year he's done that to us. And it's just like all of a sudden this moment and this game, and then all of a sudden whoever the hell we're coaching just gets hooked on McKennie and having to be in the lineup. I'm going to say McKennie ends up having a game in the middle there, and I'm going to say that he has himself a goal in this game. But Chico will definitely have a play in this one. I'm going 2-1. I'm going McKennie, way too early man of the match, and him having an impact. Lord of Fizz is actually, McKennie, go. McKennie header. Masterclass from McKennie. Hey, man, we need him to shut it down in the middle for us. But the thing is, he's only one man. So everything else, with him and Loca in there, they're going to need support from the other guys in there. Fofana covers a ton of ground for Milan. Like, that guy's going to be a pain in the ass. So that's one of the things that saves Milan at the back too with their three-man back line, because I don't get all this thing with Gabbia and whatnot. I'm not really convinced, but at the end of the day, Fofana does a lot of the groundwork. But McKennie, we need McKennie to have one hell of a showing, and he should be the freshest of all the guys in the middle of the park based on how this season has started with him for minutes. So I'm looking for him to get her going. So,
did he not start the last game?
Yeah, he did. He had to in Champions League. We ended up going with that because Cope Miners was in that advanced role. So it was McKennie and Loca in there. But and those two guys are both going to have to be strong, McKennie and Loca. But I still think this is a game where you probably want three mids. But, hey, it's all over now. The predictions are in. See what ends up going down. We'll see what ends up going down. Yes, there is a watch along. But for now, we got some Storm the Barn to get to. Let's storm the barn. See what everybody's cooking with out here. Ori, let's say we go 4-3-3 at some point. Who comes in for Manu if or when he needs rest? So who would you play for Locatelli when he needs rest if you go 4-3-3?
Well, the first thing I thought of is you don't take that son of a bitch off the field. He needs to stay on the field. If he has a broken leg, he stays on the field.
He's crucial for us. Yeah, big time. Big time. It would, for me, it'd be Thuram. Thuram would end up taking up the heart. He would be one of the main guys to break up everything for the opponent. And yeah, you sacrifice a bit going forward, but you know, ultimately, you play a flat three. If you play them flat three, they should all kind of be supporting and getting up the pitch. He just can't drive out of there because he's got to be the main guy at the heart. But it would be probably Thuram for me.
Do you think bringing 27 into the middle would help? Would help his game?
Well, some were saying, if you look at our lineup, that maybe it is 4-3-3, and maybe Cambiaso does become that midfielder. He can do it, but I think it's got to make sense of the opponent. And today, I'm not 100% sure he would be a guy I'd look to in the middle for help. But you know what? Maybe. You know, the thought is getting him into the midfield helps us get those runs forward, helps us break those lines. He finds those pockets of space, get him away from the flank. Right now, Cambiaso needs to do so much more from a basic perspective and a fundamental perspective to get me at that confidence level, you know? But when Locatelli needs a rest, I'd be looking Thuram's way to be in the heart of the midfield. You know what? There was a time I'd consider Cope Miners. Right now, no idea. But he is one that would still be in the mix. It would be those two guys. Miretti, Adzic, I want them being able to get forward. I want them as one of those box-to-boxes out there. Or you have different ways you could run a 4-3-3. You have different ways to run a three-man midfield set. Two can sit back. One can push centrally. That could be one of Miretti or Adzic as well. And then you share the duties. You don't have one locked-in guy at the back like Locatelli is, right? So different ways to...
I want to see Miretti play before I put him back there.
Yeah, he's got to get advanced though. I don't want to see him sitting back. You take one of the best things about his loan spell last year was the fact that he was able to just bomb. So
no, Miretti's not back. He's still out.
He's still out. Yeah. In the setting of that missing midfielder, do you miss Hans Nicolucci Caviglia, who, by the way, got his international call-up for the Azzurri? I think he fits perfect in that role. Thoughts? There's a couple guys, honestly, in the middle of the park that I wish we would have kept. Rovella is one of them. Hans Nicolucci Caviglia, I'm not crazy. I was never crazy on, but I would have liked to still have Rovella around. And I thought it was stupid that we did Lazio a favor of all clubs. God damn, I still get agita about that. But nonetheless, I don't know about Hans. I mean, does it feel this year like is it only because Miretti's not available? Does it feel like we're like a little bit short at the midfield? Like, I mean, I think we were expecting more from Coop in the second year. You know? And I think that's what's making us feel like we're really hard done by.
But I think Adzic kind of eased everyone's ruffled feathers a little bit. Him coming in, be able to play in there. Miretti's he'll be around. I completely forgot about Beans.
Yeah, Beans,
and forgot about Rovella as well. But I agree, Rovella would have been nice, but I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Until I see the next Cope Miners showing, then I might lose a little bit more sleep. That guy needs to wake up. That guy might need an exorcism. I don't know.
What the hell's going on with that guy?
What's your thoughts on Ayoub Bouhaddi from Lille? I'll be quite honest. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you could see the potentials there, but he looks a little awkward to me in his game, and I'm not really completely sold. I'll be quite honest. I'm not quite sold. That's just me. I think we talked about this in the green room, that we had that discussion before on the midfielders that we're looking at.
Yes.
Kessier, Milinkovic-Savic, Bouhaddi, and then Frendrup. I don't want that guy just simply for the name. That's a terrible name. These guys do nothing for me. Like, I'll be quite honest. Like, the signings, no. And probably what you're going to end up paying on a couple of them that I would consider higher up on that list of the four, I'm not into paying them the money. That only if you
get hit with like a massive amount of injuries, then you need some reinforcements. Other than that, I'm
still not willing to like get into obligations, or I don't really know. Since the start of the season, we only led by more than one goal once in the first match versus Parma. Awful stats in terms of managing your result. Yeah, we haven't been able to take a multi-goal lead on some of these opponents. I just think I mean, every game's been like a different story, and it's been a roller coaster. Like every game feels like a roller coaster with this team, and it feels
Be
so
consistent.
up and down. It's just like, again, the key word that Tudor himself used all the time. It's just balance. Like
Mhm.
we can't just find like a nice steady rhythm. It feels like, you're up and down, you're battling certain issues, but sometimes when that's not an issue, a different one arises, and you've got individuals that are inconsistent. There's just a lot of different things at play, right? It doesn't feel like it's just the same thing over and over and over. Every game's been a different story, and it's been like seemingly a completely different battle. The
But you
midfield
also
gets
need to.
overrun in a couple. Okay, great. Then you have a couple games where you got half your lineup looking like they've never played the game before. Then you have another game where you're injured, you're scrambling, you're making changes early, and you got to completely adapt everything. And then you have just poor finishing in another game where you're all over a team. There's, it's just lock in. There's just so many things going on, it feels.
Lock in an 11. First, you got to lock in an 11, and then you mix and match here and there. But to your point, the players haven't done him any favors either. I think they play for him, right? But they just sometimes they're just brain shut off or just injuries. Injuries happen.
I've been
But
heavy
yeah,
on these guys because it's like, who's the guy that wants that fucking ball that's not Keenan
mhm,
Yildiz? Chico's one of them. Jagrova's one of them. But it's
yeah.
like,
Can we get him a new
Cambiasso
pair of
gets the
shorts?
ball now and he stops and he just has no ideas and he just throws it backwards. It's like, guys, when Coat Miners gets the ball there against Villarreal and there's space ahead of him, that's the guy you need to pull some strings. He needs to do something with that. He can't just stop, turn, and run into three Villarreal players and just lose the ball and then they're just running right back at us.
Mhm.
It's like, no, we're banking on you to make something out of that. So we need guys to pull their weight. Cambiaso's crucial to our attack. He is. When he's cooking, we're flying. When Cambiaso's on, those 1 out of 7 or 8 games now, we're flying. And sadly, I think that's one of the biggest shortcomings from this team is the play on the outside has not been to the level that we need to actually hurt teams. And
Yeah.
Kalulu and Gatti don't do it. Kalulu is, for me, a waste. It's a dead end on that flank. And then when Cambiaso's in the form that he's been on, that's your difference for me in the breakthrough at Juve. Because I'm
Mhm.
not worried ultimately about guys like Conceição, Jagrova, Yildiz when they're trying to do everything. My concern is these other guys not being able to pull their weight in order to help them get space to do what they'll do. If you don't have effectiveness from those outsides, that makes it easier for teams to shut down your Jagrova, your Yildiz, your Conceição.
And
So,
it's frustrating because we've seen it. Like
yeah,
we've seen them do it. It's like
yeah. You've seen them
do
like
it again.
when they're on, when they're cooking, but like Kalulu, it ain't his thing. And Joao Mario was one of these guys that he's shown flashes. But
Yes.
talk about continuity.
Oh,
He's a guy that's got to get some continuity if you have any hope of him actually helping the attack. And while Cambiaso, so here's my thing. If Tudor is that afraid defensively that you don't want to play both Cambiaso and Joao Mario, even though he has on a couple occasions, if you don't want to do that, you got to pick your poison because you can't have Cambiaso coming out here putting shitter after shitter out there and still just being out there all the time because guess what? Neither one of Joao Mario or Cambiaso is great defensively. So I can understand the concern there, but at the same time, like you can't just say Cambiaso, you're out here game in, game out, and we're just dealing with a crappy performance. Like these guys have to push each other. You've got to figure it out, and you got to get something that's clicking on the outsides. But for me, that's the biggest shortcoming on this team right now. Not enough impact or influence from those roles.
it's a great point. Hard to
It's
argue. A lot of people agree with you here.
it's got to be better. It's got to be better. And Joao Mario's now getting shit on. That's not my intention. I mean, I think the guy shows flashes. Yeah, he's not the strongest defensively. Guess what? Neither is Cambiasso. But if you're getting the offensive output, you're willing to put up with that. That's my problem with Cambiasso lately, is you're not doing what we need you, which is the best part about you, is that offensive support and help. And you're suspect defensively. So now it's a problem. See what he does. See what happens. But man, we need way better play on the outsides. Is Yildiz worth more than prime Pogba? We sold Pogba for damn near just over 90.
Well, I thought we answered this before. Or I think is he better? Yes.
Is Yildiz worth more than prime Pogba? In terms of value, I mean, would prime Pogba be worth more what we sold him than now in this? Yes. Because I think just the market, right? The market's completely different.
If you want to take into account inflation and the rise of the dollar, even so,
tariffs. So,
I think
you got Napoli fans can't even pay for their orders.
Can we just please not bring that up? Yeah, I would say yes. Like the initial thing that came to my head was yes, but prime Pogba was yes. I'd say yes.
I think honestly, I think it's like almost the same, because I'm telling you, if you're putting Pogba in here now, I put him at this like prime Pogba. It's the same value for me as this Yildiz. Like game changers, game breakers, early, young, like credible talents. I think they'd be the same, man. I just think that value, if you're saying his Yildiz worth more than that value we sold prime Pogba, yeah, hell yeah, he's worth more. That's why you lock him in with a 1 billion release.
That's with a B.
How the hell does Fede get snubbed despite his blistering form? Cambiaghi and Cristante. That guy.
You leave Brian out of this. All right? That's my boy there.
Brian is the hope that I could still get a call to the Azzurri at my age right now, Skang. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. You leave Brian out of this.
That old fucking blockhead is going to be for the Azzurri from now until the end of my days. I tell you, Cristante, my goodness.
I don't think Chiesa wanted to go, right? I think he's still... What was that,
he got hurt. Did he not?
Yeah.
He's hurt. That's why he didn't get the call. He got hurt. Soiree. Same shit, different day, brother. Fede, injury.
Shocker.
What are we talking about here? You know?
I'm not related to Brian. We're not in any way related. Stop it. That's my boy, though.
How did Tudor do versus Juve when Allegri was our manager? Didn't he give us hell? Maybe he knows how to play Max. That's actually interesting. And I can actually try to find... I think we can find the record. Tudor versus...
I think Tudor's 3-2 versus Max. Pretty sure. I saw that on the thing. 3-2.
So Tudor against Massimiliano Allegri is 3 wins, no draws, 2 losses.
Yeah. Okay, so I did read that right.
And I'm going to look at
those would have been with Lazio?
So Lazio defeated us in a semifinal of a Coppa Italia match 2-1, but we ultimately had 2-0 in the first leg. And then with Lazio, he beat us 1-0 in league. With Verona, he lost 2-0 to us. And then with Verona, he won 2-1 with us at home. So those are the only times he faced Max Allegri. So 3 victories, 2 losses. So
only 1 clean sheet in there, I think. Is that what
only 1 clean sheet in there, the Lazio 1-0 in 23-24. And at the end of that season, Tudor was red hot for Lazio, and I'm shocked that they decided they didn't want to hang on to him and cut him loose. He was on a tear with Lazio at the end of that 23-24 season, and they let him walk. It was very, very strange. But yeah, he's got the upper hand on Max there. If you're looking at that by 1 win, hey, let's keep the upper hand for Igor in that matchup. Let's get the job done today.
No draws. Interesting, no draws.
Yeah, I actually think letting Weston go on a free next summer would be a big regret. He always puts in 100% and can cover any position at a good level. He also seems very important in the locker room. I will tell you this.
100% agree.
The price tag has to match, though. That's the only thing. As a utility guy, this guy is one of the best utilities.
Yes.
He's one of the best utility guys we've had in a long time. Maybe not so much if you're looking at numbers and output, but damn it, this guy, I have full trust that he'll do a job when he goes out there. If we needed him to shut down Dumfries, who was in incredible form, Dumfries was a non-factor in that match against Inter because of Weston McKennie. Like, the trust is there. It's just you can't dump a ton of money if he's going to be a utility guy. That's the only thing, is his demands versus what Juve wants. But I do agree with you that I'd like to see Wes stay. A lot of people don't, because Juve needs better. Juve quality players. Look, yes, you need Juve quality players, but Juve was built on guys like this. You have superstars, but then you have your hard-nosed grunt workers that do all the dirty work so that your star players can do their job. We always had them. Tacchinardi, Di Livio, Torricelli, Pesotto, Birindelli. Camoranesi was a highly talented, skilled guy, but he did a lot of grunt work. Like, you always had these guys. Tudor was fucking one of them himself. You know? McKennie's got a spot. The price tag has to match. But, you know, we do need a little bit more star power. And right now you've got guys that are supposed to have that star power that aren't bringing it. And that's the bigger problem. So Weston isn't a problem. People wanting certain guys to be Juve quality, it's an argument that drives me mental, because it's like Weston isn't Juve quality. Weston is Juve quality as a utility player. He is fantastic for Juve as a utility player. So if you pay him as such and he signs on as such, fantastic business. Your key guys, coal miners, we still need Jonathan David to hit stride to be star power. You need those guys to be star players. Zhigrova needs to be a star player. Yes, we signed him at a cheap fee and stuff. He's coming in, no doubt, to be a star player. You need those guys. You don't need Weston to be something he is not. Weston's great at what he is. A team player, a utility piece, a very strong one at that. No issues. But the price, it'll always come down to money.
Yep.
A lot of talk about MLS.
Yeah, there is a lot of smoke there, yeah.
I am feeling David will get loaned in January. No, Pierre,
no chance.
No, zero chance. You know what?
Negative chance. Negative percentage chance.
I'll eat this sumbitch if that. There's no way. Okay.
There's no way.
I'll start with the brim. No chance.
Now, maybe he gets a deal for the summer in January. Like, he agrees to a deal. Maybe that. But he's not leaving in January.
No. Not even that.
Not even that.
Not even that. David's not going anywhere. It'll be fine. He'll get it.
Sorry, did he say he said McKennie, right? Yeah, okay.
He was talking about David. David.
Oh, sorry.
Jonathan David on loan in January. I'm like, no chance.
Oh, no. I thought you meant McKennie. Sorry. Yeah.
What is the issue with old sporting directors supposedly coming back? I hear Juve looking for a new... Who? Marotta? No chance.
Zero. I got another 0% chance.
I hear a lot of shit, in the rumor mills and in the word on the street. That is one. Ain't got nothing. No. Ain't got nothing. No. Why does Allegri have massive leg muscles? Because at the gym, the Max Allegri. Oh my God, Allegri.
You don't have to give him a red card. He's still trying. It's a little hard.
Adam.
He's trying.
I love you, buddy. That one's rough. Berto, SofaScore have lineup there. Yes, we showed the lineups. I'll bring it up for you one more time. Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's what Juve's expected. Di Gregorio, Gatti, Rugani, Kelly, Kalulu, Locatelli, McKennie, Cambiaso, Conceição, Yildiz, and David. For the Dirtbags, Magnon, Tamori, Gabia, Pavlovic, Salamakers, Modric, Fofana, Rabiot, Bartesegui. That one's a wild card. We'll see. Pulisic, Leao. There you go, everybody. Let's see what happens. Is Miretti finished at Juve? No, dude, he's hurt. Cliff.
He's injured. And then somebody brought it up in the chat earlier, and I just saw it here. Pedro Felipe getting his first call up to the first team.
First call up to the first team. Yeah. Guys, I mean, that's the only thing that's out of the ordinary with the squad list. Bremer's not there, but yeah, Perin, Gatti, Locatelli, Kelly, Conceição, Colt Miners, Vlahovic, Yildiz, Jagrova, Kalulu, Di Gregorio, Adzic, Kostic, Thuram, Openda, McKennie, Pinsolio, Rugani, Joao Mario, Cambiaso, David, and then literally Pedro Felipe. So that's the only new name in that squad list.
What happened to Rui? Where'd that guy go? Is he still part of the? Is he still around?
Yeah.
Did we sell him? Did we loan him?
We tried to. It fell apart.
Right.
Like they were pushing late in the window to get him to go somewhere, and nothing has happened. Some have made the call for him, and I strongly urge them to go back and watch some video on
who was that?
Careful what you wish for. You know?
I can't remember.
But that's just some good Swedish sticking out for the Swedes there and pulling
right
for
there. Adam Kahn, unbench the beast.
Yeah, Adam. There's a Swede protecting another Swede. Hey, respect. Appreciate
respect.
the grind, man. Appreciate the grind. Instead of Cambiaso playing a midfielder role in a 4-3-3, will you play Kalulu and transform him into a pseudo Fofana and go? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why, Alex. It's because flat out, I don't want Kalulu centrally like that. He makes way too many errors. So if you're all of a sudden want him in a midfield role ahead of a center back to get the ball in there, and those, no way, man. Keep him to the outside with the amount of mistakes he makes. God, no. It's a God no for me, man. Oh, that actually scared me. That one scared me to think about, like Kalulu.
I got time for a couple more.
We got a couple more. How much would you want for Coop next summer to not make that much of a capital loss? Do you even think he'd be willing to leave to a team that would still be interested in him after all this?
Well, it's 2030. He's still going to be somewhere in the high 40s on the books, maybe low 50s. So,
dude, this is the problem that Juve's having. We need players to start hitting because it's this same carousel. He's not going to like the teams that come for him because of his performances. So guess what? He's going to want to stay with us. And it's like this never-ending, carnival ride that we're on with these fucking guys that just show up that can't pull their weight or get their head out of their ass. And it's crazy to me. But like going back to that point around Man U, why some fans are like, guys, we were talking about this last year that Juve's in a dangerous place right now where we could find ourselves in a similar situation because what was happening in Man U? They were buying players. They were paying prices. These guys wouldn't hit. Guess what? They leave. They start performing. We're starting to see a lot of guys perform or do better at least than when they were at Juve. And it's scary because we're going to get stuck with the guys that aren't. And fuck, they ain't going to leave. Who do you think's coming in for Cope Miners? That's going to be more, enticing than staying at Juve, even if he's dealing with shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even if he's benched, he's got the salary. And it's cushy.
Hate it. Yep.
Yeah. That's a problem. Right now, what would you value at him right now? We bought him for 60. What would you say his value is right now based on how things are going?
Mid-20s.
Yeah. Like 30 is going to be a pull.
30 tops.
30 is going to be a pull right now.
So you're looking at probably close to a $20 million loss.
Costa has 6 assists already for. I could have told you that, man. He's Alberto. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? We got 2 more, and then that's it actually for Storm the Barn. So we could probably do this. Is the next gen defender on the bench our next Juve talent sale? Oh yeah, so probably. The next generation getting a lot of flack for the sales that we're making with next gen. Look, you guys know. Guys don't like me when I say this all the time, but I'm telling you, these guys are cash cows.
That's what they are.
Only the elite should be stepping in. Only the elite.
Prime beef. Sell them at the market.
Big Brian just scored 20 minutes ago for Roma. Do you want to apologize? Hell no.
My man. Brian with a Y. Suck it.
No, I will never apologize to Brian Cristante, that blockhead, okay? He gets one, okay? He gets one of these. Allegri gets one of these. Milan gets one of these. And all I'm going to say is I absolutely loved, and I hope it comes true, but Tudor spent like 3 minutes hyping up Modric yesterday, and then at the very end, he just goes, Speriamo fanno cagare. Yes, tomorrow. Dude, I hope he plays the shits tomorrow. Fucking awesome.
Love the guy. Great friend of mine. Great playing with him. Hope he shits himself tomorrow.
Yeah. Love it. That was epic. And he said, ciao, and literally ended the presser on that one. I hope he shits himself tomorrow. All right? Amazing. Amazing. Fucking love it. And I hope he's right. That wraps up the live for the game. You guys know what's up. 20 minutes before kickoff. We've got the watch along. All right. Hope to see you all there for that one, as we might have ourselves a classic today. It might go down in the classics. I could think of some classic Milan matches that we've had with them. The one that stands out to me all the time is that one where Mehdi Benatia went to town in a Coppa Italia final. You remember? And he was just bagging, and he had the celebration.
That's when the guns came out.
Dude, Mehdi Benatia. Oh, dude. He was beast in that 17-18 season. He was so good that year for Juve, and that one just stands out to me. Absolutely love it. That was a beatdown, too. Could we be in for a surprise? Could we beat them down? I don't think it's going to be a beatdown. We're calling 2-1s. Let's see. Skanga, always a pleasure, brother. Enjoy the match. You guys, you know where to be 20 minutes before kickoff. Drop a like on this one. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you for this one. Big one today. Fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Let's give them one of these. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Set the tone.